so what exactly is a tax write-off? Millions of business owners pay thousands more in taxes than they actually have to because they fail to understand this very simple concept. And if you are counting on the IRS to help you understand this, then you can keep on counting because they are not going to teach you how to pay them less money. But if you simply watch this video for a few minutes, you will understand everything you need to know about tax write-offs and tax deductions that could help you pay less money to Uncle Sam. My name is Sherman the CPA, and I help business owners reduce their taxes every single day at mycpacoach.com. I recently had a client who paid $100,000 more in taxes because he missed so many tax deductions on prior returns, and I do not want this to happen to you. But sadly, it does. Literally, 99% of the business owners I talk to are missing out on deductions, and catch this, on things they already pay for. So right now, we are gonna make sure that you are not one of them. I am gonna give you the best explanation on tax deductions as a licensed CPA, so you do not have to watch another video on this. So let's jump right in. All right, so when it comes to tax write-offs, you need to understand three things really. Number one, how you are taxed. If you do not understand this, you are not going to understand how tax deductions can help you. So we'll break this down first. And then number two, what tax deductions are and what they are not. And by the way, fun fact, tax deductions are not the same thing as tax savings. A lot of people misunderstand this and make big financial mistakes, and I want to make sure that you do not. And then most importantly, number three, what you can and cannot write off, which confuses many people, even accountants sometimes, but it won't confuse you if you just stick around until the end of this video. So let's first make sure you understand how you are taxed, and this is very simple. Your taxes are based on your income. The more income you earn, the more taxes you will pay. Just take a look at these federal income tax brackets for single individuals. As you can see here, up to 37% of your income could be taxed on a federal level. But wait, then there's state taxes, which can vary by state. If you live in a state like California, you could pay up to 12% of your income in additional state taxes. So depending on your income, you could be paying Uncle Sam 50% or more of your income in taxes, which is simply unbelievable to most taxpayers. But honestly, let's be real here. Regardless of your income or your tax rate, no one loves paying taxes, especially when they owe money. And most business owners end up owing money in taxes because they do not withhold taxes from their income as they receive it like W-2 employees, or they're not making estimated tax payments like they're supposed to. But fortunately, there is something that you can do right now to reduce your taxes. You can use tax write-offs, formerly referred to as tax deductions. So when you hear tax write-offs and tax deductions, just know they refer to the exact same thing. So what exactly are tax deductions? First, let's talk about how tax deductions help you reduce your taxes. Tax deductions reduce your taxable income. Remember, the amount of taxes you pay depends solely on the amount of income you report. And regardless of what your income is, tax deductions could be used to reduce the amount of income you report on your tax return and pay tax on. Here is a very simple example. Let's say you have $10 in income, and on that income, you would pay $4 in taxes. But let's say you found $5 in deductions. This will reduce your taxable income from $10 to $5. With the same exact tax rate, you would only pay $2 in taxes instead of $4 in taxes because your income is now lower. But wait a second here. Because your income is now lower, you may also be in a lower tax bracket. So let's say your tax rate decreased from 40% to 20% because the tax deductions reduce your income to a lower tax bracket, which would mean that you would only pay $1 in taxes. That also means that your taxes decreased by 75% from the original example that did not use any tax deductions. With that said, I want you to take a second here and literally imagine owing tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. Like literally pick a number. And once you have that number in your mind, imagine that number decreasing by 75%. So instead of owing $100,000 in taxes, for example, you all of a sudden only owe $25,000 in taxes. That's a big difference. And that's how powerful tax write-offs can be. They directly reduce your income, which is subject to taxes. But many people get this confused with tax savings, which is completely different. Tax deductions and tax savings are not the same thing. A dollar in tax deductions is not a dollar saved in taxes on your return. In fact, a dollar in tax deductions is a fraction of a dollar saved in taxes. The amount of money you actually save from tax deductions depends on your tax bracket. For example, if you are in the 30% tax bracket, then your tax savings will be equal to 30% of your tax deductions, not 100%. And I see so many people get this wrong. They go out and buy things they don't need to write off under their business, thinking that the government is footing the entire bill. But that is false. If you go out and buy a $100,000 vehicle and you save $30,000 in taxes, you still just lost $70,000 in the process. So just be mindful of this. If you prioritize spending money to increase your income, you will likely get the same tax benefits while increasing your wealth in the process. Anyway, now let's switch gears and talk about the fun stuff, like what you can actually deduct as a business expense to pay less taxes. So good news here. As a business owner, you can deduct almost any expense as long as it is related to running and operating your business. There are literally hundreds of different tax deductions that meet that criteria, and the easiest way for you to understand what you can deduct or write off is to simply look at everything your business already pays for to conduct its operations. And then once you've done that, you can also take a look at any personal expenses you incur that may have a business connection. You may be able to write off a portion of your expenses for your home, your car, your travel, your meals, health insurance, cell phones, and so much more if those expenses meet the criteria of a tax-deductible business expense. So what exactly is the criteria? Well, Section 162 of the tax code allows you to deduct almost any expense as long as it is ordinary and necessary for your trade or business. Now, ordinary means that the expense is common and accepted in your industry. And necessary means that the expense is helpful and appropriate to run your type of business. You see, when you file your business tax return, you also report the type of business you operate to the IRS. And if the IRS sees deductions on your return that greatly vary from other businesses in your industry, you may increase your audit risk. But that does not necessarily mean that you should be afraid or refrain from taking tax write-offs. If you have an expense that meets the definition of a write-off, then you should certainly use it to reduce your taxes in most cases. But to protect yourself, you should also maintain proper documentation to support every single tax write-off on your tax return. This involves having a strong record-keeping system that keeps up with all of your revenue, expenses, and the documents to support those transactions. And if you want to learn more about that, I have a separate video on this channel that walks you through the specific IRS requirements on this and also includes an example of how you can simplify this with technology. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and check this out. But ultimately, tax write-offs are single-handedly the most powerful way to reduce your taxes as a business owner. And if you want immediate assistance to find missing tax write-offs with a comprehensive tax plan, apply to get one today at mycpacoach.com.